I have been getting so many questions about my kids' school in here in China, and today not only am I answering all those questions, I'm actually going to bring you into the school grounds with me so that we can have a little tour. Let's go in. I was hoping that we were going to have much better weather today. It was supposed to be a sunny day, but unfortunately that hasn't panned out. And this is also not the first time that I'm making this video. I do know that I promised you a school question video many months ago, and unfortunately the footage that I took, it didn't work out. But anyways, here we are. So to answer the first question, you ask, are your kids homeschool or do they go to a public school or a private school? So let's answer that one first. So they do not go to a public school. They are in fact in a private school. So the school, it's here right behind me, and essentially it's divided into 3 areas, which I'm going to show you next. Now I am here for a swimming competition for my son, so I figured today's the perfect opportunity to do it. I am just walking in now. So at the moment, because there is a swimming competition, this gate here is wide open, but basically the school has multiple gates that you can enter that service different parts of the school. Right behind me, we have the gate that the kids usually use to get into school, and it is usually manned 24/7, so there is security here at all times. It also has a face recognition system as well right there, so the kids can scan their face to come in and out. And what I love about it is that it is linked to our phones, so we get a notification to notify us when they're in or out. And the first building that we have located here on the right is the uniform shop. So they do have an on-site uniform shop that opens from Monday to Friday, essentially year-round. And the awesome thing is that yes, you can come in and try out the uniform, but they also have an app where you can order your uniform and have it delivered at home. So here's just a little glimpse. So of course it's Saturday, so it is closed today. We are just approaching the first building now, and this is the kindergarten. So here they have children from ages 2 to 6, and I love that essentially it operates as its own school because it's fully self-contained. It has its own playgrounds, its own swimming pool, library. It has every facility that the children would need for their schooling. And in fact, this is where Eva did her first year in schooling here in China. And I guess it is a bilingual school. Now we're going to walk towards the main building. We are just approaching the main building now. So this is where the admin center and main reception is located. And earlier I mentioned that the school has 3 different areas. So we spoke about the kindergarten. And the other 2 areas are the bilingual school, which is behind this building, and also the international school, which is where our kids go to school. So many of you wanted to know about the language barrier. So since the kids are in the international school, the school is for children that have international passports, and the bilingual school is for Chinese children that have Chinese passports. Of course, if our children wanted to go to the bilingual school, they can, but my understanding is that it can't go the other way around. Now, at the international school, the curriculum is fully offered in English, so all the teachers speak English. So fortunately, that hasn't been an issue at all. They are learning Chinese as well. They do have 6 lessons a week. We are inside the main building now. Immediately, we have the admin section here on the left. And this is also the main reception area. And it is also the receiving area. So I love that there are many, many tables and chairs and little nook areas where the parents, the teachers, and the students can sit down and hang out. The school also has its own cafe. So of course, being Saturday, it is not open today, but they do have proper barista coffees. They do many smoothies, and they also do a variety of food items as well. And now I am taking you towards the main theatre. Now, something that we really fell in love with here is the state-of-the-art facilities that the school has. And this place is special. Let me show you. All right, so it looks like The awards for the swimming competition are going to be presented here, so that is all set up and ready to go. And this is also where the yearly musical is done. So the school has a yearly musical production, and my understanding is that for next year they have the right to Harry Potter, which apparently is the first here in China. So I hope I got all my details right. Okay, let's continue on. So as you can see, this building is very impressive. It is such a large school. There is also a piano here, and this is where Eva has done her lunchtime concert. So each semester they get to present pieces that they have been working on to the whole school. And they do have a market day coming up, so that's the little tents that you can see. They're not usually out here, but they're here, all set up for Monday. For market day, that's where all the classes will have essentially a little enterprise, and they're going to be selling items, and any money that it's collected will go to a great cause. Now here to the right we have the library, and the lights are off at the moment unfortunately, but it's a beautiful library. They have so many sitting areas. Let's see if we can get a little glimpse anyway. So the library is huge, it has an amazing collection, but it is not the only library. There is another library for the senior school. Now here to the left we have the admin offices, and let me show you this here. They have a filtered water machine. So they're encouraging the children to bring their bottles and fill them up. Now over this way we have lots of different bins teaching the children how to dispose of the rubbish correctly. And over here we've got the house trophy area. So essentially when the kids come to school they get assigned a house and a house colour, and throughout the year they get to participate in events, and then they earn points towards their house, and at the end of the year somebody will win this. Now let me show you my children's house. So we are the Kingsley house, the purple house, and unfortunately we have the least number of balls at the moment. It was actually the same last year. Now we're walking towards this wall, and this has the pictures of all the staff here at the school. Now we're walking towards the dome. This is a central part of the school. It connects the international school, which is located onto the left. Then we got the bilingual school on the right, and then up ahead we also have the canteen area and the sports area. So let's go for a walk towards the international school first. Now I'm just going to point this upwards so that you can see the ceiling. It's a beautiful part of the building, and you can also get a glimpse at the library upstairs. Now this display here, this changes quite often as well, depending on what the theme is at the school at the time. All right, we're taking a walk towards the international area now, and just outside there is the playground. This is another thing that we love about the school, that there are multiple playgrounds. So basically each area of the school has its own playground, but during lunchtime, the kids are welcome to play anywhere in the school, basically. So they're not limited to just one playground. Now, as we're walking down this corridor, my apologies, it is a little bit dark. Again, it is a Saturday, but we have just walked past the nurse's station. Let's take a look at the outdoor play area. So this is where my kids are usually playing, and in fact, Eva and Joaquin are here right now as well. So it has two different playing areas, and it also has an area where they can play basketball or football. They also have many riding toys as well that they can use on the grounds. And here we have Joaquin playing in the sandpit. All right, let's go back inside. I'm walking into the international area now. So the international area has its own desk with an English-speaking assistant. It also has its own sitting area. This is also where the Christmas tree is set up at Christmas time. And if you can have a look, it has 3 different floors to house all the different year groups. So it is a massive school. It also has its own MPRs or multi-purpose rooms and its own theatre as well on the 3rd floor, I believe. And this is one of the reasons why we came to this school, why we chose to come to this school. We love that they have very small class sizes. The facilities are pretty new and state-of-the-art. This is Eva's area. This is where she leaves her backpack during the day. Let's see if we can take a look through the window here. Now we're going to head back towards the bilingual school. That's also where you'll find all the different music rooms, art rooms, ICT rooms, basically all the other specialist rooms. They have STEAM rooms, they have a massive swimming pool. The first time that we saw a photo of the swimming pool, we thought it looked absolutely amazing, especially for our son Javi, who is a swimmer. So we're going to go into the swimming hall in a moment so that I can show you exactly what that looks like. And in terms of facilities, they do also have many outdoor areas. So you're going to find tennis courts, badminton courts, basketball courts, both indoor and outdoor. They have a gym, a running track, a football field, so many playgrounds, and as I said before, music studios, ICT suites, STEAM rooms, and theatres. As you can see, the grounds are so well maintained. A month ago, there were so many roses, so many different flowers blooming all over the school. So of course, with the weather becoming a little bit hotter, the gardens have changed a little bit as well, but look how beautiful this is. All you can smell here is flowers. This is a beautiful garden. Now in the background, we have the different buildings for bilingual. And we just came from this area here, that's where the dome is. And over this way, we have the canteen. So you may be wondering, is the whole building the canteen? Basically, yes, it has 3 different floors. So this is where the children eat all their meals. Let me take you into the dining hall. Okay, so this is what it looks like. You have many tables and booths. And as I said earlier, there are 3 different floors servicing all the different areas of the school. So I believe that Joaquin and Eva eat down here every day. So for Eva and Joaquin, we pay for a meal fee, and that covers 2 snacks and their lunch. And it works out to be about 30 RMB per day. And for Javi, it's a little bit different. So from grades, I think it's 5 and above, they get a wristwatch and they get to scan that, they get to sign out a tray, and then they can load up the food that they want to eat that day. Then they get to weigh it at the end, and then that's connected to our bank account, so it automatically pays for it. Now, I will have to say that the food has probably been the biggest adjustment for the kids. They do have a very varied menu at school, but still it's, Chinese taste, which is something that the kids weren't used to when we first came. So yeah, it has been a little bit challenging. They were also quite used to me making all their meals at their previous schools. So sometimes they do wish that we could pack our own food, but unfortunately that is not allowed. I do love the convenience, of course, because it means that I don't have to pack 3 lunches and snacks every single day. So very convenient, of course, but sometimes I do wish that I had a little bit more control over what they're eating also. As I'm walking away from the dining hall, right here, this massive building there, that is the sports hall. That's where the swimming area is, and also many of the different courts. Of course, we've got the running track and the football field behind. And I will show you where David actually works. So if you are new here, David is a school teacher and he works at this school. We have 3 buildings over this way, and that is where all the bilingual students are, and that's where David works. All the buildings have multiple floors and they have beautiful views up there as well. Over this way in the background, there's also the school buses. And the last few buildings that you can see at the back is for the boarding students. So the school also has a boarding school. So they have many students that stay here from Monday to Friday. All right, let's move on to some of the other questions that I've got. So some of you wanted to know about their daily school life and what it looks like. So it's a little bit different for all of my kids. So I've got Javi, who is currently in grade 6. We have Eva in grade 1 and Joaquin in grade 3. So for the lower primary students, they come into school at about 7:50 every day. So they have playtime until the first lesson, which I think it's at about 8:15. For Javi, it works a little bit different. His day starts at 8:25. Of course, he can arrive earlier, and he normally does. They have many teachers that they can access in the morning if they need any extra assistance with, let's say, their homework or anything like that. But usually the kids like to come in earlier so that they can have more playtime with their friends, and they like to enjoy all the facilities that the school has to offer. Now, with Eva and Joaquin, their day officially ends at 3:30, so that's when all the lessons, when the curriculum is delivered. But they do also have access to many different CCAs. So CCAs are the extracurricular activities. So there's a variety of free co-curriculars and also paid activities as well. So when they do those activities, their school day ends at 4:30 instead. The kids get 2 breaks during the day when they have snacks, and they also have a 1-hour lunch break. And I think that's their favorite break because they get to eat and then they get a lot of time to hang out with their friends and play. And for Javi, his day officially ends at 4:20, but he does do sports every single day of the week. And those usually run until about either 5:30 or 6:30 in the evening, particularly when he has swimming training. So as you can see, he's a very busy boy. But what we do love about it is that, unlike, say, back in Australia or when we lived in Qatar, the kids would have those activities elsewhere. So we had to drive them to other places to do extracurriculars. Whereas here, it's all within the school, and they have coaches that not only speak Chinese, they also speak English. So that really facilitates that. There are some activities that are only provided by Chinese teachers. Understandably, we do live in China, but that hasn't been a problem, particularly for Eva. She started doing piano this year, and she's absolutely loving it. At the beginning, she was a little bit hesitant to go to a piano teacher that only spoke Chinese. During her first year, so this is, I guess, what we'll get into, the little challenges and how they have been coping with school here in China. Eva was in the bilingual kindergarten that first year, and I guess for her, she had the most daunting experience because even though she did have an English-speaking teacher, a lot of the lessons were actually delivered in Chinese. And of course, she didn't speak Chinese, and the teachers didn't speak English, so she found it a little bit scary. Fortunately, she had 2 amazing homeroom teachers that spoke English that looked after her really well. Something that I love about the school here is that there's an open door policy, so the teachers are available to you at all times. And during the first year that we were here, that was actually such a relief to know that I could message their teachers at any time, that they would touch base with me and let me know how they were going. They really took, the extra effort. They went above and beyond to check in on them and to communicate with me. Because the first year is usually the hardest when you move overseas, particularly, I guess, the first 6 months. And many of you ask me, how have they settled? How did they cope? How are they doing now? And the truth is that they're doing amazing. I would say the first 6 months were the hardest for all 3 because, of course, everything was new. New teachers, new country, new language, new home, everything was brand new. But they settled in really nicely. Those first 6 months, of course, they found their friendship groups. They got settled into the new routines. Back in Qatar, the days were a little bit shorter. And, of course, we lived there for 5 years, so they were very settled. But after the 6 months, honestly, you wouldn't have known any difference. So they are doing amazing, and they're very settled into their life. Now, many of you also asked me if the kids speak Chinese, and I mentioned that they're learning Chinese for 6 lessons a week. and they are learning. Now, do they speak Chinese? I will probably say no, because they are in an international school. All their friends speak English, and all the friends that they see outside of school also speak English, so they haven't really had to use the language all that much. I would say that they would be a lot further in their Chinese learning journey if they had to use the language a lot more. Now let's move on to the next question, and that was, is school free, and how much are the fees for a school like this? So the school fees here start from about 133,000 RMB for the year for kindergarten, all the way to 188,000 RMB per year for upper school, so the prices range in between. Now, as to how much we pay, I can't disclose exactly what's in my husband's contract because he is a teacher here, but I will say that one of the perks of being in teaching is that you do have assistance with the tuition fees, which is fantastic, particularly because, you know, we do have 3 children. Because it is a private school, there are other fees as well. So you have supplemental fees or management fees. You also have the uniform fee and the meal fees as well. Earlier, I also mentioned that the kids do have paid CCAs as well. So for example, Eva does piano, which is additional to their music lessons that they have at the school. And for that, we pay separately. So we pay about 2,600, I think, for the semester. So she gets 1 lesson a week, and she's learning so beautifully. And Javi also does swimming, which again, it's a paid activity, and that costs about 3,000 for the whole semester. So I think the fees are really reasonable, and the variety of CCAs that they have access to, you know, you can do archery, you can do golf, you can do all sorts of different sports. The selection is huge. Joaquin is doing basketball at the moment, but that's not paid. So yeah, they have lots to choose from. Now, if you are a parent, you probably then know that with any extracurricular activities, their kids, any supplemental things that they need, materials, books, of course, that's not covered. So of course, we have to pay for that as well. All right, let's take a walk to the swimming pool. I'm walking into the swimming hole now. So the competitors are currently down here. This is where the swimming pool is. We'll go upstairs so that you can have a proper look. So these are the kids preparing to compete. And in fact, I can see Javi sitting there. So he'll be swimming soon. So let's go take a glimpse. Over here, we got the change rooms, shower rooms. We have a lift here that can take us up, and also we have stairs. We'll take the stairs. I think Javi's first race is a relay, and then he's got 2 races later on where he's doing butterfly 50 meters and butterfly 100 meters. I will show you the pool. So Javi's in the next race, and David's actually down there right now. He's volunteering in this event, helping with the timekeeping, and Javi's next.
Hey buddy, good job, you won. Thanks you. Yeah, you won. Well done.
These are the indoor courts, and these are located above the swimming pool. I just come up to the 4th floor, and this is where you'll find the outdoor basketball courts. They're on the rooftop of the swimming pool building. I am back outside and I am still walking through the grounds. This place is huge. Onto my left, I've got the outdoor basketball courts, and onto my right, we've got the outdoor undercover basketball court. So the facilities here are endless. Now, one of you asked me, how do I enroll my children in a school in China? And also, how do I find the schools? So there are multiple international schools here in Hangzhou and also throughout China. You can just look them up online and on the web pages, you will find all the admission details. Of course, for us to enroll them, we had the assistance of the school because our children do go to the same school that my husband works in. So of course that was very straightforward. And this video is not sponsored by the school by any means. I will include the link down below just in case you want to check it out or you're interested in knowing a little bit more. On there you're going to find all the fees and all the admission details or anything like that. And of course, if you do reach out to them, let them know that I sent you. So anyways, I hope that this has answered all your questions. If you have any more, just please send them down below in the comments section. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And as usual, thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you on the next one.